1. Demonetization. This would be at the top of any list for its sheer lack of success and the widespread havoc that it inflicted on the economy. While being taught now as a cautionary tale in business schools overseas, it enjoys the unique distinction of having failed on every one of its stated objectives, combating terror funding, fake notes and black money, while having wiped out jobs. 2. The betrayal of farmers. Farmer suicides rose sharply during the Modi government's tenure. In its final budget, the BJP, on the demand of minimum support price plus 50%, gave a version that satisfied no one. In parallel, the Modi government imported wheat and pulses without thought, leading to the prices of domestic produce crashing. Add to this, the ill-advised venture to amend the Land Acquisition Act of 2013 to forcibly acquire the land of farmers. 3. The questionable rewriting of the Rafale deal. The Prime Minister and his cohorts changed the terms of a deal to acquire fewer jets for 3 times the price without following the stipulated procurement procedure. When cornered with questions, the government chose to attack the opposition and cite rules of privacy which were contradicted by the French president in an interview to an Indian channel. The Rafale controversy attracts questions also because of the selection of a private party as an offset partner, one who lacked any qualifications in this regard, except for an obvious proximity to the Prime Minister. 4. Media capture. There has been an enslavement of certain sections of the media which simply choke on any criticism no matter how innocuous of the Prime Minister and the BJP president. If a channel is less than pliant, it is blacked out for 24 hours, its premises are raided, or the offending journalists are mysteriously made to go on sabbatical or removed outright. 5. Weakening of institutions. The parliament is an inconvenience to this government which prefers to rule by fiat and ordinances. The Prime Minister rarely attends parliament, and when he does it is more to give electoral speeches than to lay out a legislative agenda or answer questions raised on the floor of the House. The promised Lokpal is so artfully forgotten that an irate Supreme Court has to direct action. An audacious Chief Minister promptly upon assuming office withdraws all criminal cases against himself and no one blinks. 6. Perhaps the biggest failure, the cultivation of hate. There has been a sharp increase in targeted attacks on Dalits and members of the minority community. What makes these attacks unique is the state endorsement to the attackers when ministers garland them or eventually attend their funerals. The message of support is lost on no one. In fact, the only coherent thread running through this government's term has been the othering of a certain section of India. People who are blessed to be followed by the Prime Minister share only one other thing in common. They are defiantly communal and abusive, almost as if they have official sanction. 7. The mishandling of Kashmir. This government deserves the credit of having alienated the Kashmiri people from the rest of India through a poorly thought-out engagement policy. For the first time, since the 1996, by-elections could not be held in the district of Anantnag and had to be delayed because of the tense situation. 8-month-long curfews destroyed the local economy. Worse still, there was a marked increase, 72%, in the number of our soldiers martyred in just the first 3 years of the BJP's term. The extremely inept handling of Kashmir deserves a study unto itself. 8. A draconian Aadhaar and the failed attempt to deny citizens a fundamental right to privacy. For months, this government argued in the Supreme Court against citizens having a fundamental right to privacy. It argued for surveillance and labeled privacy an elitist concern. In parallel, it struggled to explain why it ordered the mandatory linking of Aadhaar to all possible services from railway tickets to school admissions. The Supreme Court ultimately had to step in and severely curtail the domineering designs of the project. 9. Erosion of India's influence in Asia. A small island nation like Maldives feels confident in spurning India. Nepal has no compunctions about engaging with China, as does Sri Lanka. Until 5 years ago, India enjoyed a preeminent position in the subcontinent with its voice sought on resolving matters within these countries. It is clear that that influence has been eroded because of a foreign policy lacking any coherent objectives, except to promote the Prime Minister's cult of personality. 10. Jobs. When the government has to revise the methodology for calculating GDP to make its numbers appear artificially higher, when capital flight on an unprecedented scale takes place, when companies turn to external lenders to finance operations, you know the government has failed to create jobs. Subscribe us. Share our video with your friends for knowledge and education. Drop your valuable comments. Thank you for watching us.